Hey folks, it's Scotty from Plant Doctor, and today we're really excited to have a look at the new EZ-Flo 2.8 litre fertigation system. It's been sent to us from our very good friends at EZ-Flo. They work perfectly with all our Plant Doctor liquid fertilizer products. So what we're going to have a look at is open the box, see what it comes with. The beauty about this system is it's an entry level. It will retail for around $220, so making it a very affordable purchase for those who want to take their lawn and garden to the next level. So let's go and have a look. Okay folks, so here we have the box with the 2.8 litre EZ-Flo. It's been sent over to us by our good friends Sean at EZ-Flo to have a trial, and also we're going to be giving one of these away in due course, so stick with us and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. So okay, let's just have a look. Open the box. You've got some instructions there, which I'm sure will come in handy. Also a diagram. They have changed the flow tubing compared to the standard 3.2 litre. So we'll have a talk about that a bit later on. And you can see there it's actually all tucked away nicely for transport. And we'll get it out. You need to take the lid off with a cap. Okay, here it is. So we're going to compare this with the 3.2 litre that I normally use. First feel, it's very robust, very strong. Few, instructions on the back here. So vent pressure from the tank after every use. Purge all air from the tank after refilling. And obviously flush your garden hoses after each use. So I actually use an exclusive hose for my fertigation system, so it doesn't have any normal water running through it. So okay, so here it is. We've got the bottle. Now what's happened here is they've updated the tubing system. When I show you the 3.2, you'll see how much easier this new system has become, with just a method of whether you want to use solubles or actual liquid fertilizer. So it's only a matter of, there's a little switch in there of adjusting that accordingly on which one you're actually using. With the previous one, you had to cut, put an adapter in, and then that would actually work whether you've got the solubles or the liquid. But if you wanted to mix it up and change them, you would have to keep changing back and forth. Where this one, it's as easy as actually just turning that little dial there. So that's a big improvement. We've got, for those who aren't familiar with the EZ-Flo system, you've got quite a few little different levels of distribution. So you've got your slow, your 1, 2 and fast. Now fast really churns through your fertilizer. I just use mine on the slow. Gives me about 1 mil per litre of water that I distribute. So that's why I prefer to water my garden more often and use a little bit less fertilizer. So therefore you're continually feeding your lawn and garden. You're not wasting any of the nutrients, and also much better for the environment because you don't get leaching through the heavy storms and torrential rain that we get here, especially in Queensland. So there we go. So it's a little turn dial there to suit your distribution rates, and these little connections here, the water comes in here, which will be the black tubing. There'll be a couple of tubes in here. So the black tube always goes in and the clear comes out to your hose. So that way you can actually see the change of color through the tube, and you know when this is empty, when it's run out of fertilizer, because the tubing then just has clear fluid running through it opposed to your colored fertilizer. So one of the big changes I can see here in the bag, so they're your standard type tubes. We'll get to that little connection in a moment. So these little things here are ideal for you cutting your tube. You insert these, and therefore when you have to disconnect it, you don't get the flow out of the tube. So it's just a matter of a little, not it's not essential to do. It's just something that if you prefer to use those, then they're there within the bag. So there's the black, there's the clear. Okay, this is probably one of the biggest differences between the 3.2 litre and the new 2.8. You can see there, it's still quite well made, but with the 3.2 litre tap connector is a brass connection, where this is obviously a very heavy duty type of PVC. Yeah, but it's also affordable. So this whole setup that I've got here, as I say, retails for about $220. And you know, if you're filling that up with 2.8 litres of product, using it on the slow, using it once or twice a week, you're probably going to get 2 to 3 weeks out of it. So it's a very, very efficient way to maintain your lawn and garden. So, all right. So what we're going to do is compare this with the 3.2, so you know the difference between one. The 3.2 litre is a tad more expensive, but still great value. It retails for around $352 with your brass adapter. But let's just have a look at the difference between the two of them, okay? Okay, so here's the brass connection, tap connection from the 3.2 litre that I was actually talking to you about. Very, very easy to connect up to your current hose system, and works on the same principle with there's your black for the water comes in, and then your fertilizer actually comes back through there, so you can see it coming through. So that's probably one of the main differences, is the difference between these two here. Solid brass, or you've got your PVC type of plastic. So yeah, there we go. Now you can see here, this is what I was explaining earlier. On the traditional system, if you're using liquid fertilizers, you'd have to make this adjustment into your lid or your distribution channel. So there's obviously still the tube that sucks up the fertilizer, and this is the actual mixing tube. So the painting on this is amazing, and it's been around for a long time. And when you use quality products like Plant Doctor, then what happens is, because of the weight of our fertilizers being heavier than the water, the fertilizer continues to be drawn to the bottom of the container, then coming through the tube here. So that's why you don't get the mix like a lot of, let's say, other type of liquid fertilizers that don't have the same quality production as the Plant Doctor product. So definitely a big winner with the change to this new system with just a single valve. So no longer do you have to cut this tube and make it all. I have asked the guys over at EZ-Flo whether this tube can be retrofitted to this one here. So that's just something they're looking into for me right now. So there's the caps, and as you can see, this 3.2 litre, it's a very robust, very, very heavy product, and without a doubt it can just, mine just sits outside, gets a bit of the western sun of an afternoon, and certainly haven't had any problems with it, opposed to this is sort of a lighter plastic moulding, but still very, very strong, feels very robust, and I'm really keen to give it a go. So what I'm going to do shortly is set it up onto my tap system, and we'll put some product in there and we'll see how it goes. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, so I've come around to my water pump. I'm fortunate enough to have a 5,000 litre water tank that up here on the Gold Coast we get a fair bit of rain, so it's rarely without water, and I have that connected up just to a simple pump system. I've got a timer on it, and then I've just got this little split device here that I can either just use the fresh water or the water out of the tank without fertilizer, or this one runs through to my EZ-Flo system. So I've connected the tubing up to our little adapter here. As I say, the black is for the water in, clear is water out. I've also attached this little hose attachment, so we can just click the standard garden hose on and water away. So you'll see there's a little flow adjuster there, and it just seems to turn nicely. So what I'm going to do is screw it onto my timing facility here. It's always great to use a timer. Now these clips here, you'll see they have actually written on them in and out, and so it makes it very, very easy. It's a great little invention, no clips or anything, so you just push it in. Once it's in, very, very hard to get out, so you've got to actually push the ring in to retrieve the hose back out again. So a great invention. So I'm going to pop that into out, pop it onto slow. Now because I'm going to use liquid fertilizer, I've got that switch to off as far as that little valve in there, because you don't want the water to come down here to agitate the bottom. So that is if you're using soluble fertilizers, and the water, if you turn that on, the water will come down here, agitate the solubles, and then actually be extracted through this little filter on the bottom. So that's it. So what I'm going to use today to fill it up is probably one of our top selling products. We've got the flowers, fruits and roots, and because we're in autumn and won't be too long before we're in winter, this is perfect. It has an NPK of 9, 7 and 19, so it's jam packed with potassium. So you know, as the weather cools down, the need for nitrogen diminishes, so we just like to actually continue to treat the soil to make sure that the lawn and the garden can take up all the nutrients. So this is also jam-packed with microbial stimulants, and it's certainly one of my favorites to keep your lawn and garden looking fantastic. So what I'm going to do is give that a good shake. Always use a little bit of stimulator. You don't need a lot. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in there, so when I pour the main liquid fertilizer in, it will mix in amongst it. So I'm going to fill that all the way up to the top to avoid any air pockets, even let it overflow a little bit. Now what a lot of people don't realise, if you've only got a litre or two left of your fertiliser, you can pour it into the EZ-Flo system, add the water, but because the product is heavier than water, it will make its way to the bottom, and so you don't waste any of it. So alright, so there's my fertilizer. I'm just going to take these out just for the purpose of doing it up. Going to pop this in. Don't worry if you spill a little bit, we'll just hose it down a little bit later. The idea is just not to have any air in the system when you connect it up. So that's all done. Black line to in, clear to out. There you go. Doesn't get much easier than that. I'm going to connect my hose up to the bottom here, and let's go and give it a whirl and see how it works. Okay, it's all connected up now. You can see it's running from the tap timer through to the split and down into the EZ-Flo system. So you'll notice when I turn my hose on, you'll see the actual fertilizer start coming through the clear tube. So I've only got it on low, so this will be about 1 ml per litre of water. Okay, see that? So I know now that this is actually coming through my hose and fertilizing anything I water. So let's go and actually do the lawn and see how it goes. Okay, so now I've just got the hose, and I can either apply it through the hose or just through a sprinkling system, and that's it. Every time I give the garden a good water, it will take up the nutrients and just keep your lawn looking great. So really doesn't get much easier than that. As I mentioned, we will be giving away one of these 2.8 litre EZ-Flo systems over the coming weeks. So make sure you follow us on Facebook at Plant Doctor AU to find out how you can win one of these great prizes. So, okay, I hope you've enjoyed today and you've learned a little bit, and if there's anything you need to know, just reach out to us through Facebook, and we'll be sure to be back soon with some more tips and tricks how to keep your garden looking great. See you next time.